Hello, welcome back to another live. My name is Laken. If you're new here, I go live every Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern to chat about goals, planning life, all the things. We have lots of things to talk about today, so we are going to get right into it with our first question that we always start with. What is one small win that you have to share from the last week? If you're here live, please say hello down in the chat and let us know what your win is. And if you are part of the replay fam, thank you for watching the replay. Let us know in the comments what your win is from the week. My win is literally just the opposite of what my one thing. So spoiler alert, if you're new here, at the end of the live, I ask you what your one thing is that you're going to commit to for the week. And sometimes when I'm prepping for this, I will just go to what was my one thing that I said last week? And did I actually do that? And if I did, like, that's my win. You could do that too, by the way. Like, your win could be whatever your one thing was that you said from last week. So I finished organizing my December daily supplies. You can kind of see them a little bit. They're in my background because they merge all over my desk. And if you've never heard of December Daily, it is a scrapbooking project that is meant to be done in December, where you document one thing every day in December. And last December in 2023 was the first time I didn't finish it. So I have my supplies organized a little early this year. That way I can work on 23 in November and get that finished up so that I'm all ready to go for 2024 in December. So that is my win. I also included that in a vlog last week, so you will see that in a vlog coming soon. Got all your plants moved to the greenhouse for winter. Oh my gosh, that sounds like a lot of work, Sarah, but also like amazing that you keep your plants alive all year round. Made it to the live, purchased a new reading chair for your office. Welcome. And I am so excited that you're here. That is definitely a win, especially after all the books that you've read this year. Completed your wine and dine training plan. Kim, I'm so excited for you. It's amazing. It's amazing. I was going to say something, but I know that sometimes some of you share things with me like in private and I'm about to comment on it. And sometimes I will share like generic no name attachment, right? I will say like my community member, like, member of the community, blah, 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 blah. But when it's actually attached to your name, I'm like, I'm not going to just say things that you've shared privately. In the middle of a giant house declutter. Oh my gosh, Joanna, that is amazing. And I'm sure it feels like kind of hard when you're in the middle of it, but I'm super proud of you for acknowledging that you have wins that you've made and how much you've already achieved. It's awesome. Okay, let's get into it. Let's start with my reading update. So in terms of nonfiction, I am chugging through Essentialism. I feel like I finally got the intro part of this book. First off, highly recommend listening to the audiobook. I love it. Although I think I do want the physical copy of the book because there's definitely sections that I want to go back and reference and share with some of you. And so I just think having that book in my hand would be really handy. That said, I'm loving the author's voice on the audiobook. The intro felt like a little bit long for me to get through, but now that I'm in like the meat and potatoes of the book, it's so good, y'all. Like yesterday I listened to a chapter on saying no. I feel like we all could use a little bit of. Today I listened to a chapter on editing, like not like editing like a book. I mean, the example that the author gives is like about editing movies, but like applying that to your life and editing things out of your life that aren't necessary. It's just highly recommend. I'm not even done. Obviously you can see I'm 70% of the way, but I would still highly recommend this book. I think it can be, you can think that it is only geared towards business owners. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of things that the author is saying that I very much am thinking about the business and how I can apply it to my business. But I am also very much thinking about how you can apply it to your personal life and personal goals. So highly recommend it for anybody. Made an Instagram to share your goals, but haven't posted, but made the account. Stephanie, that's progress. Thank you for sharing. If you are comfortable and when you're ready to share, I would love for you to share your Instagram with us here. One of your favorite books, reference it all the time. Yeah, I feel like I need a copy of it to reference. Rachel, my mic worked during the community call, y'all. A couple weeks ago, we were having some major technology issues when Rachel wanted to share something. So I'm so glad you were able to verbally share your thoughts last night. It was so nice to hear your voice. Headed to visit friends out of town. I love that, Jennifer. Okay, continuing the reading update, y'all. I pivoted for a second. And if you follow me on Instagram, you already know this. I've been reading A Court of Thorns and Roses since I don't know, y'all, when did I start that first book? I could go back and watch the lives, like probably like May. I started book 1, right? And I'm on book 5 and I'm ready to like finish that and make progress. But one of my favorite humans on the internet, Sarah Cannon, who I talk about all the time, she is an author. She is also the creator of the HB90 system that changed my life. If you watched my latest How I Plan My Life video, and she released a new fiction book, and it is a thriller called The Disappearance of Vanessa Shaw, and I devoured it. I downloaded it on Thursday night when I was getting right about to get on a train to go actually meet the Lazy Genius, which was a book I finished last week. Y'all, that was amazing, by the way. Getting to listen to her live and meet her was just fantastic. Anyways, downloaded it, read so much of it. I didn't read as much on Friday because I just had a bazillion and one things to do. But then on the plane, like to the Uber to the airport, the plane, the Uber from the airport, like any spare moment I could find over Saturday, Sunday, I was reading it and I finished it Sunday morning. So clearly I highly recommend. Clearly, I think it's a fantastic book. I mean, if you like thriller type books, it's teenagers. It's technically young adult because they are teenagers, but like, honestly, I feel like you can still enjoy it, even if you're not typically a YA reader. Okay, so hang on one second. Let me delete this spam comment. Okay. And then back to this one. I didn't really make any progress on it last week because I was busy reading the other one. Let me quickly read the comments before we jump in. My win, the cat has been safe and comfortable while having the floors redone. That is amazing. Oh, I can't even imagine what you would do there. Chapters and checklists, goals and reading goals, and excited to start sharing. If you're interested in goals and reading goals, go give Stephanie a follow at Chapters and Checklists. And I'm going to put this invite up again. I did it last time when we talked about Stephanie's goal of sharing her goals. If you have an Instagram or a YouTube channel where you share your goals, like you share your personal goals, come share it. Like share it in the comments, share it wherever. I want more of us supporting each other, talking about our goals. And I think you can get so much from watching and like following along with someone else's journey, even if you have different goals in them. Started updating your recipes on Trello. Amazing. A quart of silver flames get spicy. Okay. Well, I feel like all the books get spicy. I feel like they're all kind of spicy, but okay. Wow. 9 minutes, Laken. You need to keep talking. Monthly goal check-in. Luckily, this shouldn't take as much time this week because there really aren't a ton of changes from the update I shared last week. The biggest one is that I checked off organizing the supplies. I finished that up, so that feels good. Little slow to get into my weekly tasks this week, but that's all right. And then still chugging on my daily tasks. Obviously, Monday's video will be my full goal, monthly goals video. So I will go through all of these in detail and tell you my thoughts on them and if I'm carrying them over to November, why or why not. Some of them I'm tweaking a couple things. Some of them I'm just carrying over, even though they're going well. And then obviously share my November goals with you. I'm excited because this month there's no weird in-between Wednesday where we've started the new month, but I haven't posted my goals video. So here's the last snapshot of the October page. And then next week we will be on to the November page. Okay, one more thing before we get into the topic, the November calendar. Let me make this bigger. I always like to share the calendar, and I need to share it on Instagram. How did I get away with not doing that yet? The red are YouTube videos. So videos like normal YouTube videos that will be up, either a vlog or plan with me or my goals video, some combination of those three things. The lives, same thing on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern. There will not be a live the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. The holidays have already started. My plan is to take off that starting that Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. In the past, we have always traveled for Thanksgiving. And so it was kind of easy for me to say like, oh, I'm out of town, so therefore I'm not working. But we're not actually traveling for Thanksgiving, but I still want to take some time off before we get into the chaos that is December and Vlogmas. So my plan is to work Monday and Tuesday, on like kind of behind the scenes stuff. It's the last week of the month. There's always something to be done, but then I'm not going to go live. And then you can see the coaching calls when they are for the community. We have a variety of different days this month. And then again, that last week will be pre-recorded with an effort to kind of ease my way into taking some time off before Vlogmas kicks off that Sunday. So let me check the comments again really quick. Elizabeth, hello. It's been a hot minute since I joined a live, watching them all as replays. Well, I appreciate you watching the replay, but glad that you are able to be here live. Okay, it took us 11 minutes, but let's start talking about this topic. I know the title was a little bit clickbaity. I'm sorry. I'm not usually a clickbaity kind of person. I'm usually pretty honest with what we're going to talk about. But of course, it is not as simple as me just like telling you what it is. Also, y'all, my Halloween shirt that I talked about a couple weeks ago, it's little kitties dressed as ghosts. You can hardly see it on the live, which is a bummer. Maybe I should like tilt it down a little bit more. My computer screen is loose. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I'm probably going to wear it for this live because I wanted to, and I'm going to take it right off so that it's clean for tomorrow. But yay, I just love it. Okay. Topic. The number one mistake that I've totally made, and I've seen so many people make in Q4, and really it's Q4, but I'm talking about this now, the last week of October, because it's really more of a November, December problem than a total Q4 problem. But the biggest mistake is just continuously saying, I'm going to do this in January, and continuing to say, like, the New Year's right around the corner. I'm just going to wait till January. I'm going to do this in January. I'm going to start in January. I'm going to wait till January. Insert whatever verb you want to insert here. But that is the biggest mistake, is that people say that so often, myself included, and that can turn and backfire on us. Now, before you call me a hypocrite, I can hear it. I can hear it from some of you. I know I have said the following two things. Number one, I've told you to start a 2025 idea list. This is still true. I still have an entire page of ideas for 2025. I actually started grouping things together this week. I'm like getting way ahead of myself. I haven't even done the 2024 reflection, but here I am just like brainstorming 2025. Don't stop. This is still true. You can still make the mistake about pushing stuff off and have an idea list. Like, those two things are not mutually exclusive. There are lots of reasons that you could add something to your 2025 idea list that doesn't fall into this mistake category, right? Maybe it's brand new. It's something that you've never even touched or done before. And you're like, it really doesn't make sense for me to try to do it in November, December. Fine. I can understand that. I feel you. That's a lot of my ideas too. Some of it, it's big. It's really big. And you're like, that is something that is like, I'm not necessarily going to be able to get to it. So I'm just going to go ahead and put it off. It doesn't make sense, right? Maybe it's something like, some of my idea lists are like, well, obviously that's a 2025. Now, that said, doesn't mean you can't start working on it in 2024. Because one of my 2025 ideas is for the business side is to have a in-person event. And I have actually I haven't officially booked it yet, but I have picked a location and a date. But like, most of that goal execution doesn't make sense until next year. So there's a lot of great reasons for you to still have your 2025 idea list and add to it. The other thing that I've said is that I'm doing a no goals December, which again may feel a little bit hypocritical to, well, I'm just going to do things in January. But I did a whole separate live about this topic where I went in depth, and really what it means is I'm doing no new personal goals. And I just thought that word really funny. And I'm not tracking it. So I won't be setting up like this tracker for December. It doesn't mean I'm not still going to be focusing on my water. It doesn't mean I'm not going to be trying to get in a workout. Those things are still going to be true, even though I am doing a no goals December. I'm still going to be doing some goals, if that makes sense. And I did a deep dive into this in that prior live, if you haven't watched it yet. The problem, here's the issue, is when you start to say this phrase way too much, and we start to let everything go until January, every habit that gets hard, right? Oh, I got behind on my 100-day challenge. I'll just do it in January. Every project that isn't urgent, like, oh, I'll just wait and start it in January. And every goal that you know that you won't finish by December, if you're like, there's no way I'm going to finish decluttering my house by the end of the month, I'm just going to push it off till January. The issue is when we start to do that with all of our goals, when we start to let it become a cumulative thing where it's everything gets put into this category. There's 3 reasons why this is a big mistake. Number 1, you're going to lose momentum. If you continue to just put stuff in that next year bucket, you're going to have no momentum going into the new year. And I understand that January is going to come with this huge rush of motivation. You're going to have this motivation surge on January 1st, but you're going to need momentum to carry you through. New Year motivation, has it ever carried you through the entire year before? I'm going to guess probably not. It doesn't for me. You're going to need that momentum. And so if you just keep pushing everything to January, you're not going to have any momentum going into January. Number 2, when you have this mindset, then you feel all the pressure to start all your goals in January, right? If you keep pushing everything to January, then when it comes time to pick action steps, you're going to try to do them all. And you've probably heard me tell this story before, but what happens when you try to do them all is you lump them all together in your head. It's like when you start a morning routine and you're like, I'm going to do all 10 steps. And you do all 10 steps on Monday. Whew, worked. You do all 10 steps on Tuesday. Awesome. Wednesday, you oversleep a little bit and you're like, I don't have time for all 10 steps. So you do 0 steps. That is how it works when you wait until January to do all the goals. When you start them all on January 1st, then they all become lumped together. And you may be able to ride that motivation wave and work on all of your goals for a week, maybe 2 weeks. But then as it starts to get hard and life starts to creep back in, kids are back in school, things start to get busy again, your goals have lumped themselves in your brain into this all or nothing mindset. And it's either all of your goals or none of your goals. And most of the time we lean towards none because it's easier. So I don't want you to have all this pressure that you're going to start everything in January. The third reason is that you forget that you can achieve your goals. When you push everything to the new year and you essentially do nothing in December, you lose all that goal setting confidence that you have been building up all year. You have been, every time you achieve a goal, every time you check something off, every time you shade in that little progress bar, you are building the confidence bucket. You're building this bucket of knowledge that you can do it. You can achieve your goals. Momentum is a feeling. It's that feeling of riding the wave. But goal confidence is a mindset that you have been, if you're here listening to me talk right now, I know that you have been working on all year. I don't want you to lose that. I don't want you to forget. I don't want you to forget that you can achieve your goals. When you go into the new year knowing that you read 2 books in Q4, or drank 40 glasses of water in December, or worked out 10 times in December, you know that you can tackle your New Year's goals. You have that confidence that you can do it. And I want you to have that. Notice how this doesn't say and. I'm not saying that you have to do all these things in December in order to have a successful 2025. Please don't hear that. But when you do none of those, not these exact ones, you know that, right? These are examples. When you do nothing in December and you just save it all for the new year, you lose that confidence that you can accomplish things when the new year starts. So what would be more beneficial? What's a better way to go about? And I feel like I'm saying interchangeable things. This could be Q4. Obviously, we're already 1 month into Q4, depending on when you're watching this. This could be November and December. This could be just November or December. There's lots of options here. But I want you to think about some things that you could do. Number 1, I gave all of these 1, 2, and 3, but really it's 1 or 2 and 3. So number 1 is pick one habit that you're going to stay focused on through December 31st. I think that's the beauty of the 100-day challenge. And by the way, you could start now. Maybe I will make you a 60-day version for the end of the year. Let me know in the comments if that's something you would want. Pick one habit that you're going to stay focused on through the end of the year, and then make it smaller if you need to. But what's the one thing that you could carry through, right? I gave you some examples here because these are ones I feel like that I'm going to continue even when I'm doing no goals December, right? I'm still going to be reading. I'm still going to be focusing on my water. I'm still going to be trying to get a workout in. Is it going to be minimal? Yeah, because I'm going to be filming and prepping a gazillion Vlogmas videos, but I'm still going to be focused on it. So what is one thing that you could do and then make it smaller, right? Like again, working out is something that right now is on my goals. I'm not going to have a tracker in December. That does not mean working out is getting taken off of my calendar, but it does mean I am going to keep it really, really small in order to stay focused on all the other things I have going on in December. So whatever it is, I want you to make it. Sorry, I just noticed there was some, where all the spam is coming from. I actually have one quick question. I'm going to interrupt this really quick. If you watch this on Facebook, like seriously watch this on Facebook, member of the community, you watch the lives and you're here on Facebook, please let me know, because I think I may stop posting these on Facebook because I feel like all I ever get from Facebook are spam comments. Okay. Anyway, feeling called out. Okay. I'm sorry, but also like, I feel like it's helpful. Okay. So option one is you pick one small habit and you make it smaller. And this is the one thing you're going to stay focused on through the end of the year. Or you could and this, or you can or this. What is one project or part of a project that you will finish before the end of the year? If there's a project that you're looking at that you're like, there's no way I'm going to get to this by the end of the year. Let's go back to that decluttering example. Joanna said she was, going through a big declutter in her house. Maybe she's looking at the calendar right now and thinking, I probably can't get to all of the spaces by the end of December. Instead of just saying, okay, I'm going to wait and do all of it next year, let's make it smaller. What can you get to by the end of December, realistically, and make that your project? Also, this could be a December daily, right? So for me, that's how I'm looking at this. I don't have any other projects that I'm doing in goal-wise in December. I am going to not have any kind of new goals or anything, but I'm going to be working on December daily. But by finishing that before the end of the year, I'm going to feel that confidence and that momentum, even though it's a different goal. And that's what I want you to remember for both of these, really, but this one in particular. These momentum doesn't have to mean the same thing. Saying that you're building up the momentum there is momentum for the same thing. That exists. But general goal momentum also exists. So by saying, I'm going to focus on December daily and writing that momentum into a different project. It doesn't have to be the same project, but that confidence and that momentum will still exist for a project for you, working on something for you that you can carry into the new year. And then the last thing, this is not an or, but I want to make sure that in December, November, but mostly December, you set aside time to set your goals for 2025. Take the time to prioritize you and set your goals for 2025. And of course, you probably see where this is going. If you need help with that, I am once again hosting the 2025 goal workshops. I did also share these on Instagram. That makes it so you can't really see it. Do any of these work? There we go. That's better. We've done these for the last, I think this is our 4th or 5th year doing these. They used to just be within the community, and then I pulled them out 2 years ago, and it makes way more sense for it to be outside of the community. So you do not have to be a member to join. Anybody is invited. You are welcome. Anybody is welcome to sign up for these workshops. There's a cost associated, but it does not just community members. They are going to be on Sundays this year for a variety of reasons, but they're going to be Sundays, because I didn't put this anywhere on the screen, at 11 a.m. Eastern. So that's typically, most people can convert their time zone from Eastern. And they are going to be approximately 3 hours. Now, I went back and looked at last year's, and the first 2 were a little bit less than 3 hours. They were like 2:45. And then the third one was basically right at 3. So I want you to set aside 3 just to be safe. It may not take us the full 3 hours. And it also very much depends on how many questions people have and how much people are willing to share. The more questions, the more sharing, the longer that they take. But they're going to be anywhere from 2.5 to 3 hours. Those are the live times. If you are somebody who wants to set aside time live to join us, obviously you can catch the replay. It's not just going to be live and then they disappear forever. If you know that you can't be there for one of them, or you know that that time doesn't work for you, I wish I could pick a time that worked for all of us. I really wish I could, but that is just impossible. So we have to do what works best for the majority. And so you can always catch the replay. If you're like, I cannot focus for 3 hours. There's a member of our community who's like, I literally can't stare at a screen for 3 hours. I can't. You can break it up, right? You can watch the replay and do 3 1-hour chunks over the course of the week until you finish it. The benefit of joining live is just that you're able to share and be accountable, and you can ask me questions live as well. I'm always in the chat answering questions, helping you with breakdowns, etc. They will go on sale early Black Friday. Black Friday is technically like 2 days before that, November 29th. That's cutting it way too close. So like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So we're just gonna do it early. We're gonna do Black Friday on the 22nd. I like launching them on Black Friday at a massive discount. So if you know for sure you are in, you can sign up at a discount. Community members, you will get even more of a discount. So make sure you keep an eye out for that. But then they won't go away. So if you can't commit to it, then they will still be available. There won't be a discount. So, yeah, I'm very excited. I think that these are incredibly helpful. It's, even if you are somebody who knows that you will do it, right? You know that you have the accountability to get through it. There is something about sitting on Zoom surrounded by like-minded individuals, also setting their goals for the new year, that gives you a little bit of extra oomph. And as always, it does not matter what goal setting system you use. This is not just for goals with Laken Planner users. You can come to the table with any goal planners. If you have the 2 like main goal planners that I find, I pulled the community to see, and it seems that most people are either using the Goals with Laken, Power Sheets, or Moxie Life, or just a notebook. So for those scenarios, I will be telling you what page to do. There will be time for all the questions, all the things. Or if you just want to do it in a notebook, you can do that too. Okay. All righty. That is it that I have planned to talk about. Look at me making it to 12:30 on the dot. Oh, interesting. I declutter. I was trying to do it a bit at a time and it wasn't happening. So you took a week off from work. That's amazing. I'm thinking 5 minutes of decluttering will make a visual difference between now and absolutely it would make a visual difference. If you, by the way, anybody who has a decluttering goal, I always recommend the book, Decluttering at the Speed of Life. If you have not read that book or listened to the audio version, highly recommend her process, or even just Google her steps. There's like her 5 steps to decluttering. You can find them on the internet. They are so helpful. So helpful. Highly recommend, especially if you're going to do it like this in 5-minute chunks. Oh my gosh, Jennifer. I highly recommend the 2025 workshops. Everyone is so encouraging. And I wouldn't have accomplished everything this year without the community and Laken. Hold on. We're going to take a screenshot of that for my own personal, when I need a pick me up. I have like a album on my phone for when I need like, that extra oomph. Thank you. I appreciate that. I also didn't say this. If you're interested, just make sure you're on my email list and you'll get the notification about the Black Friday sale. And I will remind you 2 days before here on the live, 2 days before, but it will be on sale Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I think. Oh, here you go. The author has a YouTube channel where she talks you through the steps and answers questions. Very helpful to have on while you declutter. Thank you, Joanna. I will link her YouTube channel after the live is over. I mean, you don't have to buy the audiobook, but really her methodology of decluttering, I think it's so helpful. It's so helpful. Definitely changed the way I think about decluttering. Okay, that's it. That's all I've got for you. The rest of the time, where is the pop-up? Is yours. Q&A time. You're welcome to ask anything. It can be about your individual goals or struggles. It can be about a topic. If you don't know how to phrase it to a question, you can just put topic, whatever it is. It can be about something I've shared that you want me to deep dive in or elaborate on. Follow-up questions, anything at all. How do we declutter sentimental items? You'll read that chapter in the book. Oops. I am probably not like off the top of my head. I'm trying to think if I can easily grab my copy. There's a lot of different ways at this, what I'm trying to say. There's not just like one secret answer to this. This is obviously one of the most, if not the most difficult thing to declutter. So highly recommend checking out her book. She also has a podcast. I have since unsubscribed from the podcast because I think that it, just since that's not a stage I'm currently in, I wanted to kind of eliminate. I've really trimmed down the number of podcasts and YouTube channels that I subscribe to because I was overwhelmed with the amount of content. But she's got, I think, hundreds of podcast episodes. I am sure you could find an episode on this exact topic that will help you. But there's a couple different ways that you can tackle it, like having a certain size box or taking pictures of it or having, somebody else help you. Like there's a lot of ways. So I'm not going to do it justice because I haven't read it in a while. Also she does recommend this too. Not starting with decluttering sentimental items first. Start with something that isn't emotional. She has a recommended order to go through as well. Like the order that you start with, and you can decide whether that's the right fit for you or not. But she does have a recommended order in the book. Oh. Guys, I should have put it up there. Somebody submitted a question. Okay. If you have a question, put it in. I'm going to quickly type this up. I didn't mean. Okay. How was the Halloween party? Did you make cookies for it? Halloween party is actually this weekend. So we were away at a wedding over the weekend. So our Halloween party got pushed and on October 19th, there were a couple of reasons that it wasn't going to work well for us. So we pushed our Halloween party to November 2nd. So it's on Saturday. I am making cookies. I've already made the cookies because you can make them further in advance. I haven't decorated them yet. So I will share when I do them. I can share a picture next week if you're curious, but I will definitely share them on Instagram. I'm excited. I'm excited to like execute on the party plan that I've made. I just feel like I obviously have way more time and capacity and energy to host this party this year than I did last year. If you're new here, I decided years ago that I wanted to host an annual party of some kind. Eventually landed on Halloween. Did host an initial Halloween, like the first annual Halloween party last year, but it was just my family. Like we just invited my immediate family and kept it very small because I had a tiny, small human. This year, it's obviously, we know a lot more people in Chicago. Some of like Lila's little friends are coming. I'm so excited, y'all. I'm so excited. And yeah, so it's just going to be a lot more fun and a lot bigger this year. And I have a lot of fun ideas for it. I appreciate all of you who shared some suggestions on last week's live, 2 weeks ago. Was just getting ready to type the same thing. My guess is because I asked about it last week, y'all thought it was like that last weekend, but it was not because we were at a wedding. So it will be this weekend. But I was just working on a craft for Lila's costume. If I didn't tell you guys what we were going to be, here's the hint. This little hair clip for Lila. I'm very excited. Okay, I'm going to ask this question that somebody sent me in an Instagram DM, and if I had planned it further in advance or had remembered it. I told her I would. answer it and then I forgot. Okay. So this is not from me. Somebody sent this to me in an Instagram DM. Trying to balance being a new entrepreneur, as in no paying clients, and needing to bring home an income, looking for a job that I enjoy, but also pays the bills. Right now, I'm working a bit towards both, but that doesn't feel sustainable or focused. This is really tough, and especially because I know that the person who submitted this lives in an expensive place to live, and so likely having a 2-income household is necessary. I can relate, and also has a small child, and so balancing that is probably part of this. So I think I didn't include the pop-up here, the part that she says working a bit towards both, but it doesn't feel sustainable. This is one of those situations where I think trying to do both, like splitting your attention, because you're also splitting your attention on being a mom and likely your household stuff, is probably, like you said, not sustainable. And so I would, it's hard because you're going to have to make this call for yourself. But I think that the answer is focusing just on one. And so I think it's being really honest with yourself, because I am sure that the entrepreneurial route is the one that you really deeply want. Like, you want that flexibility with your child. You want that, like, you're excited about that idea, etc. But you need the income. And so I think that instead of trying to split your attention, likely, and maybe you ask this because you're like, you probably deep down know this is the answer, and maybe hear it coming from somebody else, is that for now, you find the job. And I think maybe, you say looking for a job that you enjoy. Get clear on what's the priority for the job, right? Is it that you get to work from home? Is it that you enjoy it? Is it that it pays a certain amount, right? List all the things that are factors. You have your deal breakers, but then make sure they're ranked, the other components of it, right? Like, sure, it would probably be really, really nice. Oh my gosh, you guys, the spam comments today from Facebook are just out of this world. Like, it would be really nice to probably have all of the above, right? How feasible is that? I don't know. Like, I haven't looked at the job market and the industry that you're looking in. And so maybe it's prioritizing for now. You get something that you can work from home and brings in the income. And maybe it's not your favorite thing in the world, or it's not like your dream job, but it is something. And then once you are like, yes, the hours are going to be gone because you're working, but the mental capacity of it will hopefully free up a little bit to then maybe focus on the entrepreneurial side as your side hustle, and focus on building that up until it gets to a place that you could make that the full-time option. I think it can be so distracting to want to be all in on one way or the other. And I wish that the answer, like, I wish, you said like to any tips or helping. And I wish I could give you like magic formula tips to like do both, but I just don't know if that's feasible right now. So maybe it's just being really honest with yourself, and the reminding yourself that it is temporary, and you're not necessarily, like, if you prioritize finding a job, you're not necessarily giving up on your entrepreneurial dreams for forever. Or the other option is you go the other way and you let go of trying to find a job, a separate job, and focus all in on getting those paying clients and growing your business, and give yourself a limit. Like, if I'm not bringing in X by X date, then I pivot back. So those are my thoughts. I know that's probably not the total answer that you wanted to hear. But I'm always here if you need to brainstorm more or break it down further. Message me and let's chat about it. You guys see the puppy that just walked behind me? So cute. All right. What else is on your mind? Any questions? What else do you need? Oh, my family group chat is popping off. I don't know what they're talking about. Interesting question. Not motivated or reinforced by check marks or trackers. Any other ways to acknowledge or view progress? Yes. I think that for some, let me just say, for some goals, maybe not. It depends on the goal. And so if you are not necessarily like, if looking at the check marks doesn't motivate you, then seeing progress is going to be harder to have on some goals. And so you are potentially going to have to motivate yourself with other things. So whether it's a reward at the end of it, whether it's, telling somebody else that you achieved it, there's like, I did a whole video on like rewards and celebrating, and I would rewatch that. Now, for some goals, you can absolutely have other ways that you track progress. Before and after pictures are a really good one. So and this can apply to decluttering. This can apply to, like typing on a computer screen, right? Like the number of words before and after. Like there's so many ways that you can look at before and after photos. Where you can actually like visibly see the progress. I think I talked in my How I Plan My Life video about the Kanban board. And while I do get the satisfaction of moving the sticky note over in the same way I do by kind of like a check mark, I think you might be surprised that even if you're not motivated by trackers, the visual progress of being able to see all the sticky notes over on the other side, it could potentially motivate you. I think maybe consider trying it and see if it might work for you. And then the last idea I had is like some sort of like vision board type thing. Like, I don't know if I'm going to explain this well enough. Because I feel like everything I say comes across that it's like still a tracker, but I think my gut or my assumption based on your question is like the actual check mark aspect of it, like checking it off is not motivating to you, which you're likely not alone in that scenario. But something like a bunch of pictures of the goals that you're trying to work on, and then updating it when you've done them so that they are like they go away. I guess that's kind of the same thing as the sticky note. But I was thinking of it. Sorry, I'm blocking another spam comment. I feel like I'm not getting across what's going on in my head. I will think about this question a little bit more. I think it's a good question. I feel like it's something we've talked about before, if I can dig that up. But I think maybe also getting clear with yourself on why your goal is important to you, and then using that to create some sort of ongoing motivation, right? Use that to see progress. For example, a community member shared with us last night that her cholesterol numbers from April are back, that were above the normal range, are back in the normal range, right? And so that I don't know that was her only why for focusing on like what her like health and wellness, but that is progress, right? Being able to see those numbers. So asking yourself, what's the why behind the goal, and how can I turn that why into a way to see progress? Is it, I'm trying to come up with another example off the top of my head, but if that makes sense. And if you want help with that, that you don't want to share publicly, again, come send me a DM and we can work on converting things and figuring some out for like your specific goals. I like this too. I'm externally motivated, so I use my hype girls. I work on certain goals with certain friends and tell them when I make progress, and then they hype me up and we celebrate, and vice versa. I love this. I'm the same way. Totally the same way. quick suggestion back to the job question. If you decide to look for a job, can you look for one that has one aspect or focus that you want to have in your new job working for yourself? That's a great suggestion, Jennifer. Thank you. Hopefully that was helpful. I know that's not as tangible and concrete, but I do, if you're not as motivated by that, by like trackers or progress, what are you motivated by? Maybe that's the question. What does motivate you? Okay. This question is very sweet. My sister had her baby boy a couple weeks ago. Congrats. Starting to think ideas for Christmas presents. Any suggestions? So this is going to be not controversial. I think probably mom would understand where I'm coming from. That first Christmas, like I know you probably want to buy all the cute things for your new nephew. Like you want to buy him all the toys and all the things. My guess is that your sister has more toys and books and things than she knows what to do with. So it's not as fun, but I would ask her, like, first off, are there any things that you absolutely like need or want that you don't want to buy for yourself? Like, is there anything like that? And sometimes, like, I understand that people want to buy fun stuff, right? Okay, so let me give you an example. For Lila's birthday, I realized we've been getting hand-me-downs for most of her life. We have multiple friends who have little girls that are older than her, and they have been so generous with hand-me-downs. And so with the exception of like 2 pairs, like most of Lila's pajamas for her whole life were hand-me-downs until she was about to hit 1, and I realized that we had no pajamas in that size. So for her birthday, I told lots of people like she needs pajamas, and that's it. It is still fun. They get to pick out fun patterns. People got to pick different brands. I'm not picky. Like it was still fun, something fun to buy, but it was something absolutely useful for us. I think my other idea that I hesitate because it's a little controversial is focus more on your sister. Like focus on getting her some more things. Like in future Christmases, you could spoil the heck out of your nephew, but mama might need a little bit more of that love this Christmas. Like, even things like someone got me this for Christmas last year and I love it. I love it. I have like a mom sweatshirt that says like established 2023, like things like that. I don't know if it was her firstborn or not. But I think like maybe getting some things that kind of spoil your mom or your sister as a new mom might be a little bit helpful. So those are kind of my thoughts. I feel like it's hard. I'm also struggling with this situation where like Lila does not need any toys. And I want to, like, for Christmas, please don't buy her toys. She doesn't need any toys. And then it's just hard. It's hard because I know people want to buy fun stuff. I get it. I would be the same way. But if anybody else has any suggestions, by the way, for Elizabeth, whether you're here live or watching the replay, and Elizabeth, maybe come read the comments in a couple days. Please share your thoughts. I'm trying to think if there's anything else like last Christmas that would have been nice to have. Or things we really liked getting. Oh, that's a cute idea. A scrapbook photo album of the pictures that you've taken of her and her nephew. That's a really cute idea. Or like stuff like a mug with picture on it, magnets with picture on it. This is also a great suggestion. A family photo session. That is a great suggestion. Or like gift cards to like things that they might want to do in the new year. again, I know this is not as fun, but then at the same time, if it's from you, they'll think of you every time they do it. But like, for example, in the early year, like early part of this year, Lila started swim lessons and then we started gymnastics. Um, but like gift cards to those places, I would have totally loved those for Christmas last year. And then also these suggestions. Is visiting your sister an option? Can you give mama some extra time? Watch the baby clean her house. Old school coupon books. Oh my God. I totally made these as a kid. Totally. All the time. Yeah. A zoo pass. Also a great suggestion. I forget about this one because our zoo here in Chicago is free. But this is a good one. A zoo pass. And those, I know that some of these, like Elizabeth, you may be thinking like she's like, or he's super, super little. And so like a zoo pass or swim lessons or whatever. But like I mean, you said a couple of weeks ago. So it seems like your nephew is just basically a year behind Lila. Next year, like he's going to grow super fast and she's going to want to be able to do these things, like go to the zoo, go, to swim lessons, gymnastics, whatever. Like yes, he is too little for it now, but it will be here before you know it. Another thing that I like would have been nice to get for the holidays is all the like travel type stuff. I don't know if your sister travels or if she plans to travel with him. But that was like something I did find myself purchasing a lot of. Buy the toys. The mom can always save and bring out later in the year. Toys come and go. As an older mom, I miss seeing them around the house. I can see that nostalgia. I just feel like we have so many. We have way more than she'll ever play with. Any other questions? Anything else that you are struggling with or you need help with? Whether it's from me or the community always comes up with great ideas. I understand sometimes the question you're like, you probably can't answer this. And you're right. I can't answer every question, but maybe there's a question you have that you would like to pull the community on and see their thoughts. Going once, going twice. Everybody all good? Oh, also, I didn't pull this comment up on the job question. If you're offering a service, maybe take on one client while you're working. Yeah, that's also a great suggestion. Can you talk more about the community and what y'all share? I can totally talk more about it. In terms of what we share, it varies obviously based on whatever the month or the week is. But there's three main aspects to the community. Three main aspects and some new things that we've launched that I'm so excited about. Number one is the weekly community call. That's the big one. We have a call every single week. It is focused on actually helping you make progress on your goals. So we check in with our goals. We share our wins. Those are flipped. We share our wins. We check in with our goals. Then I answer any questions that were submitted for the week. This, like yesterday's call, we had two questions. One was about adding in a new grad school goal and having to put her other goals on the back burner, tips and suggestions on that. And then the other question was about weekly action steps and struggling with weekly action steps and follow through on those. They gave specific examples and we talked through suggestions for that. And then we spent 30 minutes just working on our goals and making progress. So that's kind of what the calls are like. What people share is really, again, dependent on what the questions are. And if people have experience with those suggestions, or suggestions for those questions, and just kind of, again, on the week. Some weeks are very like chatty and sherry, and some weeks are very like get down to business. We have the Facebook group that is focused on just kind of ongoing updates. I will share my planner page almost daily. I know it's not perfect. Most days I'll share my planner page in there. And then there's some other posts that are encouraging you to check in with your goals and then get to know you posts. And then the texting service. So you can also sign up as long as you are in the US, Canada, Puerto Rico. You can sign up for text from me. You get a daily text every day with some sort of tip, question, motivational quote, whatever, to remind you to work on your goals. That's the meat and potatoes. There's some new little auxiliary things that we're working on. There's typically always an additional discount code for anything that I launch, like the planner, the workshops, etc. And then we just launched accountability buddies. This is the first time I'm saying this, not inside the community, but literally it just launched. Like the first round of signups closed last night, and I matched everybody up and sent them their buddy this morning. And I'm so excited. I'm just so pumped. Totally optional for those who wanted to sign up, and still very much in tester mode. So yeah, hopefully that was a helpful little rundown. Any other questions? You're free to ask. And if anybody ever has questions about it that you don't feel comfortable asking out loud, you're welcome to come ask me privately too. Thank you, Rachel. I love the fact that I can ask a question to Laken individually and more in depth if I don't want to share publicly. Yeah. And people who submit questions for the calls are also welcome to submit them anonymously. So they can, like, if they want the community's input without the community knowing who it is, that is also an option. Because like I said here 20 minutes ago, sometimes I have a great answer to your question, and sometimes the community has a better answer to your question. But if you don't want them to know what your question is, somebody asked recently about, like, they actually did this anonymously because Facebook groups also have an anonymous option, about like starting a family. And they've said, I'm posting anonymously because I'm not ready to share this, like who I am. But, we're talking about starting a family and what, tips, suggestions that you have. Again, community members always have more different experiences than I do. So it's helpful. All right. It's almost time. So let's wrap it up with my last question for you, which is, what is the one thing you're going to do this week to make progress on your goals? What is the one step you're going to take to make progress? It doesn't have to be a big step. Small progress is still progress. I realized my last pop-up disappeared. I must have accidentally deleted it. So I wanted to get that in. Okay. My one thing is finish prepping for November. Again, if you watched the video that went live earlier this week called How I Plan My Life, maybe I should have hyped that up more here. I think it's super helpful. At least I hope it is. I mean, it was a lot of work, but hopefully worth it. So this week I have to finish making my sticky notes for my Kanban board. I need to do the wall calendars updated. I think that's it for November. But that is my one thing. Going to jazzercise. I love that. Going to do your strength training routine. Awesome. And the other thing that we've started, if you watched all the way to the end, I would appreciate if you would comment below with a ghost emoji to go with my shirt. I guess I could have done a cat emoji or both. You could do a cat and a ghost. But if you made it all the way to the end, I would love for you to do that. And as always, give this video a thumbs up if you found it helpful. And if you're new here, please click that subscribe button. I upload new videos every week focused on helping you achieve your goals. Thank you so much for hanging out today.